It's well. Apologies if you were just watching a live stream that ended abruptly. Complete technical failure on my part there. And you'll notice I have effected a bike change. So basically, to cut a long story short, I had Zwift paired with the Flux S trainer, and I was beginning to highly doubt some of the power readings I was getting from there. Plus, the plan for today was a bit of hill climbing, and well, I think the plan for today was twofold. It was a little bit of hill climbing, plus dial in that TT position, just get used to that TT position. So yeah, I had the perfect storm of F-ups really. So got to look at calibrating that Flux power trainer better, or bike trainer better than it was. Now Alexa's talking to me. And also, it became apparent that I was on the wrong course. So I wanted a bit of hill climbing today, and I'd put myself on the flat lap, which was quite appropriate for the time trial bike. So what I did was I just stuck to half an hour on the TT bike, which is what I'll be racing next weekend, hopefully. In terms of kit and duration, still a little bit more bike fit to do on that. I'm still in two minds about that saddle height. I personally think it needs to come up just a bit. So I think there's going to be a bit more BFF bike fitting action going on this weekend. So yeah, basically, long story short, back on the trusty Watt bike and headed for the hills. I'm still going to do the bike change on Zwift, just to show you how that works. Don't know if it makes any difference. In my head it does. Right. So, like I say, heavy training week. Actually, that half hour wasn't wasted because that's warmed me up nicely. But yeah, these power readings I'm getting from the Watt bike are a lot more consistent. And I think the Flux S, if I'm correct, has a tolerance of something like plus or minus 3% on the power. The Watt bike, I think it's closer to 1.5, so that tells you something. Right. For some reason, the Garmin head unit here isn't picking up the Watt bike. It could be there's a bit too much Bluetooth going on. I'll bet you the 4i power meter's still live. Main thing is the watch is getting it right. Okay, so if you want to do a bike change on Zwift, firstly, make sure your screen's active. Then the way to do this, press the A key, that brings up your pairing screen, and then just OK that. The reason you do that is you want your rider to stop. Press T on your keyboard, takes you to your garage. Find the bike you want. Where's my climbing bike? Forget which one I climb on. Do you know what? We're going to go with the Dogma F. Oh, to have this problem in real life. I think we are going to go with the Alpinist wheels. No, I'll tell you what. We're going to go lightweight Meilenstein. Okay. Let's just make sure I did select those right wheels. Yeah, we've got the Meilensteins. Okay, so we are ready for the hills. Here we go. Spin the pedals. Now, if you're a dab hand at that, it can take you as little as 15 seconds. Not feeling like a particularly light bike right now. Oh, but I am in gear 19. Twat, Ian. To be fair to the tax trainer, it's a lot quieter than the Watt bike. Right, so what did we say? About 2.5 to 2.8 for the climb. Because we've got two of these beauties to do today. Perfect. Keep it here. Saturday morning spin. Up some big hills. That's what it's all about, eh? So, in other news, the American Classic eBay wheels I bought for the time trial bike have turned out to be somewhat less of a bargain than I thought. As I was putting the new rubber on them last weekend, I noticed a crack. Oh, deep joy. Now, these are an alloy rim with a carbon fairing sort of a deal, and on some wheels like that you can quite happily get away with a crack in the carbon. However, that's only the case if that carbon is no more than a fairing, and that the Oh, blimey. Talking and climbing. Good morning. Oh, good morning from Sydney, Australia. Crikey. Oh, thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much for watching and for the comment. So what is it? It's about 7 o'clock in the evening in Sydney. Blimey. This will warm my legs up on a cold Saturday morning. And just for reference, I think I'd rather be in Sydney. It's bright and sunny outside, but 5 degrees C. 6:05 in the evening, lovely. I bet it's slightly warmer than 5 degrees C as well. Oh, crikey. Look at this. Yeah. I'm glad I swapped the time trial bike out. Oh, look. 3.8, 3.6. Oh, man. That's a dream. 26. Sounds perfect. Oh, Lord. Tired legs. I know it's only 7 o'clock in the morning here in the UK, but it has been one of those weeks. I even ended up doing, well, I had my regular training week. Good mix of running and cycling this week. PB 5k, PB 10k, swim either today or tomorrow, but I did a lot of bike, and I did my regular team time trial on Thursday evening with my tri club. Lord, that was the New York reverse Knickerbocker course, and I hate that New York course, and I hate that climb for some reason. It's just nasty, and so yeah, we time trialed up it. Did quite well. As a team, I think we were 37 minutes. Not bad. But we had a couple of fast boys in the team we were all keeping up with. Man, felt like my legs had been ripped off. And so I did that Thursday evening. Then yesterday morning, I did an hour with the time trial bike on the trainer. And had a rare day off work. So in the afternoon, I did one of the Zwift Games races on it. And the Garmin 945 is desperately asking me to rest today. and I should listen to it. I definitely shouldn't be doing anything that involves two nasty big climbs. But there you go. I will have an easy day tomorrow though. I think there's going to be some gym work, a swim. I might actually just take the time trial bike out on the road just to get a feel for it in the real world. But I've got to swap the wheels over. I think I was talking about this a little earlier and my mind drifted. I'm at that age. So the American Classic wheels I got off eBay, they're kind of a hybrid design. So they've got an alloy rim and braking surface combined with a carbon rim, which gives you your aero section. And that to me is absolutely the best of both worlds. Brake on alloy, while still getting your carbon aero benefits. However, the carbon on them is really thin, as I expect you would think it to be, because they're a wheel and you want to make them light. And basically when I was putting the tyres on last weekend, I noticed a crack in that carbon. Now, it's easy enough to do with those wheels because they're incredibly hard to get a tyre onto. I find them, I've got another set of those on my Planet X road bike, and what you find happens, you naturally want to pinch that carbon rim while you're putting the tyre on, especially if it's being a bar steward with you. So I think somebody at some point has wrestled a tyre on, squeezed that carbon, and it's now got a lovely big dent in one part that I hadn't seen before, and a crack. And you know, here's the hindsight of buying on eBay. No, actually, I bought those on Marketplace. You know, you rock up, you buy them on somebody's doorstep. Car's double parked. You give them a cursory look over. Yeah, they look fine. And to be honest with you, I think I was more concerned about the brake wear indicators than examining the carbon, which is probably a lack of foresight on my part. But yeah, so now, if you get these hybrid style wheels that have got an alloy braking track and what I'd call a carbon fairing, a crack in the carbon ain't a big deal, as long as your nipples, oh, said nipples in a live stream, as long as your nipples are secured into your alloy rim. Because then the strength of the wheel is coming from the spokes, the hubs, and the alloy rim. So assuming all of those are intact, you ain't really got a problem. However, with the American Classic wheels, the spokes secure into the carbon section. So, oh, blimey. Bear with me. Blimey, crikey. Thank you, S. Dickinson. So yeah, these American Classics, they, yeah, you can tell that the carbon is structural because you can actually see the spoke nipple screwed into it. So the moment you've got a crack in that carbon, to be fair, the wheel is scrap. Because I think even if you took it to a carbon repairer, they wouldn't want to touch it. Wheels are too high risk. You just don't repair wheels. You know, spokes and stuff, yeah, fine. But I don't think I've ever heard of anyone gluing a carbon wheel together. And I wouldn't want to ride it. Especially on a time trial rig, where, you know, this is the front wheel that's got the issue. Don't bear thinking about. So, yeah, absolutely gutted. Because they're good looking wheels. And like I say, you know, I've got a pair, so I know they ride well. But that leaves me with a dilemma. I bought the bike to race on. What do I do for wheels? Well, the simple answer is, for the race next weekend, I'm going to borrow the wheels off my Planet X road bike. And they'll get me through my first official riding the bike in anger. But I still need a set of decent racing wheels. So when I bought those wheels, they were like 180. You know, which seemed like a pretty good bargain. I know for a fact, brand new, that wheel set was like 500 quid. So, you know, it seemed a reasonable price, but obviously what I've done is bought 180 quid's worth of scrap. Bike packer kit, oh look. When you want to get lost in the woods. Sounds suspect, doesn't it? So yeah, all I've done is bought myself 180 quid's worth of scrap, but you live, you learn. Now, when I was buying them, I was actually tossing up in my head whether to go with a brand new set from one of the more established Chinese brands, which I really rate, actually. Loving your work, Trace Velo, in opening our eyes to that part of the market. So yeah, I was thinking, shall I go with a brand new set of reputable Chinese carbon rims? But, you know, these were like 200 quid cheaper. American Classic. What could go wrong, hey? Well, I'll tell you what can go wrong. You're buying second hand. You're very likely buying somebody else's problem. Which I have. So, a seasoned old cyclist I used to ride with lived by the motto, pay less, pay twice. And I should have learnt by now. But, yeah, so anyway, I'm rambling. Long story short, yesterday I ordered myself a rather spiffing set of Super Team 88s. So this is a full carbon wheel set with ceramic bearings, I hasten to add. Widely regarded as a decent buy by, I'm not sure if Trace Velo has reviewed any Super Team. I know GC Performance has, and he rates them, and he's a straight talker, so good enough for me. So yeah, there is a rather nice set of carbon 88s on their way from China, which I will be riding, reviewing and telling you about when I get them. Now, obviously, one of the drawbacks of ordering from China is that you have to wait a month or so for them to arrive. So what? You know, I've got others I'll use in the meantime. I just wish I'd played it a bit sharper first time around and not tried to save myself some money. Now, whilst I've been jabbering away here, I think I've been totally disregarding my 2.5 to 3 power target. Maybe not. And in Innsbruck, coming up the hill from this side, this is the steeper, shorter side. Yeah, not going to be a PR today. No surprises. You might notice as well that I was so happy with the new channel logo. I've had a cycling shirt made with it. Let's give you some kudos. Fair play. Crikey. Now the question is, want to get to the top, which is tantalizingly close. Do I swap bikes? Do I go TT for the descent? Or do I just not be a dick and say, you know what? Pinarello Dogma F. Faster than anything I'll ride in my life. And stick with it. Oh, 1.8, 1.7. Oh, I can't tell you how nice that is. Oh, Lord. Fan has just gone into overdrive. Where's the top of the hill? It's got to be around here. Ooh. Right. This feels like it's about to plateau. Now, even though I've said my watch is telling me I should rest, and I'm clearly not, I think this is something I've always done, and any sports scientist or even trained physician will probably tell me it's a flawed strategy. But one of the things I find with triathlon, which, you know, it's an endurance sport, isn't it? It's as much about the mental conditioning as the physical conditioning. Thank you, Endine. So, you know, especially, oh, thank you, P. Gordon. Especially when you get onto like a middle distance or Ironman. You do actually go to some pretty dark places. And I think, you know, I've always tried, when I was training for Ironman, to condition that mental strength, that bit of your head that is screaming at your legs to stop. Just the ability to turn that off. I know that I don't think you'll find it on any of the Think plans, but one of my favourite Sunday sessions was the full 112 mile bike and then into a 10k run. And on the bike segment, I'd actually structure my route so that I came right past the end of my road with about 20k to spare, 20k to go. And I just keep riding. I was trying to give myself that reason to get out that you learn not to take. And then, of course, good enough. Midfield. Then, of course, no, I'm not going to swap the bike. I mean, come on, Ian, it's Zwift. There's not a Jumbo Lisa bike theme car following you or anything. So yeah, that you know, I think with endurance sport, the mental conditioning and days like today where I feel physically tired but I'm still doing it, these are the ones you put in the bank for when you need them. Plus I enjoy it. You wouldn't do anything you didn't enjoy, would you? Well, you might. I go to work every day. Yeah, I don't think I'd have gained anything by swapping onto that TT bike here. I'll tell you what I did find the other day, which all ties in with the Project Greyhound and getting myself into some time trialing again. I found my old Bell Javelin helmet and I'm really thinking of using that next weekend when I race that time trial. Oh, thank you, Jay Wells. Cambridge Tri Club. Yeah, I'm really thinking of using that next weekend when I do that time trial. Come on, admit it. We all like a pointy lid. But we all know the rules. You only wear one when you're racing. Because if you wear it when you're training, you look like a dick. Different when you got a number pinned on. you've got a reason to look like a dick. Oh. What I am going to do is just take the recovery on this downhill. Dogs have just been out for their walk with my good lady. Right. I have to say, going back to, those wheels I bought off, I think they were listed on eBay and on Marketplace. Given what's going on in the bike industry, it feels to me like there's a bit of a disconnect with people's expectations, sellers' expectations in the second-hand market. I think what I'm seeing is a lot of people who probably paid over the odds for, well, I mean, come on, let's get real. What about road cycling isn't over the odds? Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people that probably paid over the odds for bikes, wheels, and Christ knows what. And now they're trying to, or they're expecting to recoup that outlay without regard for the fact that the bike industry seems to be on its knees. Look at Trek. Reducing their inventory by, 40 stock keeping units. Or SKUs, as they call them. Now, having said that, I think you've got to take that number with a pinch of salt because, a colour or a frame size is an SKU. So, you look across their range, they've only got to drop a few colours here and one of their less well-selling frame sizes there, you'll easily get to that 40 SKU reduction. However, it's significant that a big manufacturer like that is feeling they need to make those sorts of changes. Having said that, I'm still seeing what I think are unrealistic price expectations from retailers. Now, I've seen a lot of debate recently online on YouTube over, could buy a Ducati for the same money as a push bike. And that's true. And when you look at those two items, you can't argue, can you? Now, obviously, the bicycle market is a much narrower band than motorcycles. And I guess, to some extent, you know, it's more, the manufacturing of a bicycle is a bit more artisan, isn't it? But, you know, when you look at it in terms of cold hard value, you got to wonder whether how much we're being ripped off. But yeah, going back to what I was saying, I'm seeing, you know, bikes listed on eBay with reserve prices or buy it now prices I wouldn't go near, frankly. And let's not forget that buying a used carbon bike, you know, that's a bit of a risk, however you look at it. If you don't know what you're looking for, I think carbon's one of these materials that's good at hiding damage. And oh, there's one of them out in the garden. Might hear some barking shortly. There she goes. Good. There's my boy. He's quieter. Wife's getting rosy. Yeah, so you know, the whole eBay thing does just feel, and you've got to have sympathy for somebody that's laid out a lot of money, you know, especially in the COVID and post-COVID years when demand was vastly outstripping supply. You know, I guess manufacturers could more or less make prices up. But let's not forget, they were themselves quite impacted by the gaps in the production cycle. So, yeah, you know, I've got to have sympathy for somebody, especially if you're... What's going on there then? Something's beeping at me. Maybe this thing's found the power meter at long last. Maybe not. Nope. Oh. Did I miss a sprint or something? So yeah, I do have sympathy with somebody that's, you know, spent a fair bit of dough and now looking at never getting that back. But, you know, such is life, isn't it? We'll make our choices. Oh, look. I've got a featherweight power up there. I want to save that. Now, question is, how on my knees am I going to be if I do the second climb? I think there's a sprint round here, isn't there? Certainly not going to contest it, but I think I'll use my power up on it. Interesting feeling the difference in road feel between the Watt bike and the Flux S. They're both flipping good. Thank you, Kimbo. Do I dump the power up here? Or do I save it? Well, here's the logic. If I use it here, I'm going to get another power up at the end. It might help to some small degree. All right. Let's hope there's another sprint somewhere. Is it me, or does that actually look like that Giro lid that's creating so much controversy? It's almost like somebody at Giro or Gyro or whatever they call them was riding on Zwift one day, saw that Aero helmet icon and thought, you know, yeah, that was a particularly unimpressive sprint. Oh, here we go. Other side of the leg snapper. Oh, down the gears. What were you thinking, Ian? So this is the leg snapper KOM from the other side. 8%. About the same average gradient as the big hills, I think. Oh man, really feeling the fatigue. Push through it, Ian. So, yeah, bearing in mind, I've already done, before I even started this, I did half an hour on the time trial bike around the UCI flat course. Well, I call it flat, it's got the leg snapper in it. And now we're approaching an hour in. On this course. And I think this is, in terms of, you know, mental strength. No, this is the other side of the leg snapper, isn't it? Surely. No, it's not. I'm getting lost because the leg snapper finishes on that corner. Or just before that corner. Keeping it to my prescribed climbing power here. Come on in. Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Ooh. Ah, this is... Yeah, that is the other side of the leg snapper. Good girl. Right. Let's get rid of this down here. So this is where your endurance mindset kicks in. What are we? Another hour to go. Feeling fatigued. Wanting to throw the towel in. This is as good as racing. Incidentally, I am going to do a video on why I think Swift racing could or should form part of your training plan. If you've got access to it, obviously. Now, in terms of where I am personally, I'm now at that stage where, you know, clearly I've hit the weight loss goal. So I've got myself down to race weight. Now I want to get into race shape. And that becomes a bit of a leap of faith, because My system, shall I call it, is to use MyFitnessPal as a guide to the calories in, calories out. To quote the great Homer Simpson, in this house, we respect the laws of thermodynamics. So, yeah, I use that as my gauge. Now, for the best part of a year, I've had my settings on there set up to lose me weight every week. And suddenly, I've had to put it to maintain weight, which means consuming more calories, which feels like a risk, but it isn't. You've got to listen to your body. And I think, now I'm what was I this morning? 84.5 kilos. Don't know what that is in pounds. Alexa, convert 84.5 kilos to pounds. What's that, 126 pounds? Is that 100 something pounds? Thanks, thank you for that. Just read the comment. So yeah, I've now, it feels unnatural that I'm looking at the MyFitnessPal and it's actually recommending, you've still got calories left, you should still eat something. What I'm trying to do is make every calorie count. So eat real food. Now, having said that, I am at the stage where I will let the occasional bit of crap creep into my diet. Had quite a heavy training day yesterday after a team time trial the night before. And I had a Cadbury's flake ice cream in the evening and thoroughly enjoyed it. But the thing is, that's the exception, not the norm. So, yeah, lots of healthy food, a little bit more of it. I had got to a weight where my wife was telling me she thought I looked unhealthy. Jury's out on that one. I think we'll agree to disagree on that. But I'd got myself down to just under 84 kilos. So, I've now settled into maintenance at 85, which feels, for me, about right. I raced Ironman at 85 kilos. Oh man, there goes the fan ramping up. So yeah, it does feel a little bit, I'll be candid, a little bit demotivating that I'm not seeing a constant downward line. But, I'm tempering that with the motivation of knowing I've done the work, busted the gut, and now, that flat line is kind of what I've earned, kind of the expectation, kind of the right place to be in. And of course, you know, if you just go on depleting your body, you're not ever going to increase your power. You will ultimately do yourself damage. And thank you for that. Thanks. Just trying to read the commenter's name. Anna M, is that? Thank you for your comments there. Much appreciated. So, yeah, so immediate goals. First proper race of the year next week. 10-mile time trial on the Greyhound. And then the Beaver Castle Olympic Triathlon in July. There is locally, there's a late season duathlon I might enter as well, which was the very first multi-sport I did. The Great Notley Duathlon. Just up the road. 2-mile run. I think it's 23-mile bike and a 2-mile run. And that run has got a horrible hill in the middle of it. Right, keep yourself paced on here, Ian. We're 2 seconds in front of the hologram at the moment, which is good. Keeping the heart rate high enough to keep the Wahoo fan in overdrive. Going to use cadence more than torque to make my power here, I think. And like I say, you know, this morning it's about mental conditioning as much as anything. Come on, Amory. Up, up, up. Come on, buddy. Oh, looking at the wrong rider. Be Contrek. He's putting out 4 watts per kilo. And I was trying to go with him. Nobbying. So yeah, this is, you know, this is a mental conditioning ride. Ride out of the dark place. Get yourself nicely depleted. Get to where you want to give up. And then go on. Ah, your man, Contrek there. I think he was paying for that. 4 watts per kilo blast. Come on. Up, up, up. Let's give some love. See, that's always demotivating. When somebody on a training plan that's in one of their green segments just strolls past you. Come on, my friend. Have a ride on if you've not had one already. Probably about 25 minutes of climbing left. Somebody doing an interval run there. A little run walk. I have to say, over the years, I've become, I wouldn't say a convert, but I'd say less averse to a run walk on the run section of a triathlon. I maintain that for a triathlete of my standard, probably only a handful of times you would actually run on an Ironman marathon. And those are in order. When you come out of transition, because there are people there. And some of those people have cameras. And some of those people know you. When you're out on course, when anyone, absolutely anyone, points a camera at you, obviously, when you come through the start finish to collect a lap band, you've got to run there. Look strong. And then finally, when you come into the finish chute, look strong coming across the line, even if you don't feel it. As a seasoned Ironman once said to me, your family and friends would have had a long day waiting for you, and the last thing they want to see is a sack of shit coming across the line. Right, so what are we? Third of the way up the climb. Yeah. $18K to go. Good bit of that is descent. So what? Probably about 7 kilometers of that is descent. So I'm just going to spin here. As long as you ain't stopped, you're going forward. Just remember that. Because I honestly think that, you know, unless you're a professional, things like Ironman and even triathlon, for that matter, you know, for the rest of us, it's about the experience, it's about what you take away from it. It's about knowing that you didn't give up when you wanted to give up. And I think those are lessons you can take forward and use every day. So, if you watched one of my live streams before, you know I ramble. Going back to the whole weight loss thing, you know, it's a little bit like that. I said in a video, the one where I was talking, I got 40 kilos off. I felt really good. I actually said in there, I think, that if you're going to do something like this, you need to do it with purpose. And somebody said to me, forget where we were, and I think your man was tucking into something sugary and very appealing. And there's me with just a coffee. And he said, I can't believe your self-control, willpower. And I don't think it is willpower. I think it is about purpose. I know what I want to do. I get a strong vision in my head of what that looks like. And I go about doing it. Just having a little grind here, just to give the legs some variety. Oh, you know about that. Very low cadence. Not good for your legs, that. Not good for your knees, at least. So about a quarter of an hour left on the big hill. And then we're just going to enjoy the downhill. Now I can tell I'm tired because I'm riding here at 2.6, 2.8 and feeling like I'm on the edge. I was racing the time trial the other evening at more like 3.5 and feeling strong. So, you know, I think your body's pretty good at telling you what's going on if you give it a chance. Jay Phelps. Thank you very much. Elenda, thank you very much. I've got to wonder. Oh, it's Hitchco. Thank you very much. I've got to wonder if those ride-ons in my pockets are slowing me down. I look like a domestique full of bottles here. Like, I've just been back to the team car. I actually think I've done myself no favours here. I think I weighed in this morning at 84.5, and something tells me I've got my avatar weight set to 85.5. I'd be worried about that if I was. Just remember, there is a bit of a plateau at the top. I don't know if you can hear that fan going mad in the background there. Whoa. So, with 1:23 on the elapsed time, I've literally just passed 1,000 calories burnt. Now, let's mark this time. 8:18 UK, 31k in, 1:23 elapsed. With Easter coming, let's see how long it takes to burn off a cream egg, which I know is 170 calories. Don't ask me how I know. Now, admittedly, I'm looking at this on my Garmin head unit, which isn't using power at the moment, it's just going on heart rate and distance. So that might be a little bit off. But, you know, here's the thing with calories. I think It's just a guide in any case. So, I might pull this section out as a short. Hey Marie, you keep having a go, didn't you? Just trying to remember 8:18. Do experiments like this yourself. And I think you'll soon find some of that willpower people say I've got. 30 calories down, 140 to go. Right. Yeah, hey Murray, look at you. Come on, buddy. That's it. Let me get back on. Right. Wonder if he wants to ride it together. Here he comes. Right, 4 minutes in, 54 calories down. Let's see if Marie wants to come back on. Looking like a dig there. There we go, 70 calories, 100 left. 6 minutes in. Right, hey Marie, back on my wheel. Back off a little. Make it clear I want to cooperate. Maybe even take a gear off. Well, could be a group of 3 of us here. Hey, Pritchard joining the party. Right, come on. Back off. I better pull. Right. If your man wants to go, he can go. Keeping it steady. Right. Just looking at the calorie counter on the Garmin. Nine minutes in, just past 100 calories. And remember, now this is, if you try this experiment, this is personal to you. Body weight, heart rate, all of that good stuff matters. Oh look, hey Marie, made a pass. Right, now I need to get back on. Right back to that wheel. Yeah, I think your man does want to play ball. Right, let's sit on for a while. Here we go. Good man. Well, I'm just going to suck his wheel for a bit. Yeah, let the man have the flat section. Coming up to the top now. What are we? 4 minutes away. Oh, and I'm letting him go up the road. Keep on it in. All right, here we go. Let's take a turn. Oh, he wants it. Let him have it. Shall we steal his glory? Ah, it ain't over till it's over, buddy. Fucking hell. Oh, man. Shouldn't have done that. Right. 1,175 calories. Started that at 8:18 on the clock. We'll call it 8:30, but I probably went past the 170 calorie marker, if that is a thing. And so 8:18, 12 minutes of uphill intense effort with as you saw, a sort of 5 watts per kilo sprint towards the end. That's what it takes, approximately, because we're talking calories, so we're talking approximately the energy contained in a Cadbury's cream egg. So over Easter, maybe food for thought. Now, we'll just go down into the town. We got 10k left. I reckon, in terms of time on the road, we've got another cream egg. And possibly a couple of after eights. See, and this is the sort of thinking I do. Oh, B-Tink, thank you very much. Whoa. Just spin that climb out the legs. I am going to go into the controls for the Wahoo fan, put it on manual. And give it some beans. Oh man. Right. Where's my companion at? There it is. Now, am I and Mary going to have a battle on the leg snapper and the sprint? I think your man wants it. Don't know if I do. Rolling in nice and fast here. Oh, if only I could handle a bike like that in real life. Bearing in mind I've already done 2 laps of this morning. That aren't included in this ride. My failed live stream. Ah. Not very talkative. Just over a park run to go. With a brutal little leg snapper in the middle of it. Here he goes. Let him lead me in. Now, as you come through this part of the town, it's easy to get lost and think the leg snapper is closer than it is. Keep your powder dry. I'll happily sit on. And you know, if he wants the leg snapper, he can have it, seriously. I really am interested. I think I asserted my authority at the top of the Achterbahn, or whatever that hill's called. Here we go, over the bridge. Look for the bridge. Here we go. Bless him. Let's dump this. Let's do this one on cadence. Oh, hey Mary, now 30 seconds down the road. The improbable Iron Man stamping his authority twice. Ah, yes, come on. There's a sprint. We're just going to ride it normally and dump the draft about there. Oh, bloody hell. Right. It's all about cooling down now. Even the watt bike started making a funny noise. I can hear that. Oh. And there's that lovely finish flat section. I think it's fair to say my work for today is done. So I'm just going to coast in here, get the old heart rate down, take the gears off, spin some of that lactate out of the legs. So generally speaking, I look to have my heart rate about 125 by the end of the recovery, or lower. And depending on the course, I do try to get a kilometre or so of, for me, decently high cadence. A coach in my club taught me that one. He used to make us do leg spins at the end of a spin class to spin the lactate out. And you know, it did seem to work. So he knows more than me. Anyway, if you've watched any of this, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your kind comments. Really appreciate anyone that watches and even takes the time, especially takes the time to chat during these live streams. They are as much a diary, a video diary for me as anything, I think. So it's just nice if, you know, to know that other people might appreciate some of it. May I wish you a good weekend. Hope the weather holds wherever you are, and that you have a smashing Friday, a smashing Saturday and Sunday, assuming of course you're not working. Many people do. And I am about to go offline, so I will catch you in the next one. Look out for that short on how long it takes to burn off a cream egg, and as soon as I get them, a review of the Super Team wheels, plus also hopefully I'm going to make a video about my local time trial. I love local races like that. Oh look, the one power up I always want and you get it when you can't use it. Yeah, I love these local time trials. It just feels like there's an honesty about it. It's the proper grassroots of the sport. So yeah, I'll try and do that justice with the video. And of course, when those lovely Super Team wheels come, I'll be looking forward to reviewing those. Anyway, have a good one, YouTube. Now I've got to find the right button.